Alright guys, this video today is a little bit different. I'm actually just going to give you my backstory, the ups and the downs, lots of downs, and things that I've learned in my business that have brought forth the knowledge and expertise for you to be the best agent I can for you. And I'd love for you to stay tuned to this little bit more personal video in today's clip. Alright, so if you're new to the channel, I'm Shayla Twit. I'm with Coldwell Banker here in beautiful Longboat Key, Sarasota, Florida market. And I'm in a great place with my teammate Shayla behind the camera and the office, but it always wasn't like that, right? So I have a story and I want to share a little bit about that with you, just to get to know me and some of the things I've really learned and been through that have really helped my clients, because I feel like experience doesn't come overnight. Experience comes over time. And basically, the way I came to be in Sarasota was my brother was here at Ringling Art School, and I was right out of college. I started in real estate when I was 21, I think, and you know everything at that age. Basically got into the business, and I was really excited about it, and I really just wanted to fast forward my future, and I wanted to secure several pieces of real estate for retirement. And it just goes to show you there's no fast track, and for the marathon that is investments, so to speak. And I was, I think, immature in that I had 3 properties at one time, and the 2 were rented, and of course I was residing in one. And one of the biggest mistakes I made, that was the start of the downfall, was I put the 0 down. I fell into that, I admit, I fell into that whole, not scheme, I guess, because that was what they were offering. So I thought, why not? And I thought I was worth, 2-3 million or something like that. It was just not even real. And that's why I'm glad that they don't have these programs anymore, because it's just asking for disaster pretty much. So I did that, and I didn't go out and have lavish parties or like buy all kinds of like Gucci shoes, like crazy things like that. I really was trying to think of my future, and I just went about it the wrong way. And if I only knew then what I know now, it would have been so different. So basically, when the Great Recession came around, it was like a domino effect, and I know a lot of people have been through it, but maybe you've been watching the channel and you don't know that I have too. So I feel like I want to be able to relate to you and the people that have gone through it, because it was a really tough time. I went from feeling like I had 2 million net worth or something, like net, in quotes, right, to literally negative money. And I got so down about it. At one point I was owing the IRS, and it was just not a good look. It was very stressful, to say the least. And I remember getting a call from the IRS when my dad was in town visiting, and it was just like, it was almost like someone's like squeezing your heart, or you can't breathe, and you just feel so suffocated. That's how I felt, suffocated. When you can barely put gas in your car, and it's just, you're so over leveraged. And I didn't sit down ahead of time and actually calculate what I could truly afford, have like a 6 to 12 month savings buffer. I didn't do any of that stuff, and now I'm so anal about it. It's so different. But so IRS came calling. That was a big deal, because they ended up garnishing my wages when I was at a different company at that point. What else? Everything you can imagine. I finally said to myself, like, this can't keep going on. So I succumbed to the idea, which it took a lot of pride swallowing. It was really hard for me to come to the conclusion that I needed to file bankruptcy. There was just no way out of it, because not only was I over leveraged, but my income depended on real estate, and it just wasn't consistent enough in my 20s to be able to sustain the investments that I had made. So it was really tough, but again, just wiped it out, the bankruptcy. And it took me a long time to pull through it. As a matter of fact, at one point I asked my dad for $5,000. He said yes, but he asked me to sign a paper saying, you know, I'd pay him back within a certain time, and I paid him back before the deadline. He said I could make payments, but I said, you know what, I'm just going to pay you because I have a closing coming up. And it was just really tough times. And I know some of the other realtors out there can relate to this around the country, so you're not the only one. And it's just because we kind of fell into this, and it was just not the brightest idea, I guess, but live and learn. So anyways, I paid Dad back, and it was such a long process to dig my way out of it. I can't tell you like the frustration I had. I was really, really blessed though, because my family had a property down here I was able to move into and rent from them. And I didn't have to deal with having a lease and things like that just made it just, you know, like someone was watching over me in that regard. So I was really, really so lucky from that standpoint, because not everybody has that. And then eventually, to try to fast forward the story, I finally was like, you know, I really need to buy a home again. So I went through that process, and I found a great townhome. This was about 8 years ago now. And so I bought the property. But interestingly enough, as I'm under contract, it was a new construction. I'm under contract with this property, and I'm thinking like the past is long gone, right? And no, caught up to me. Basically, one of the properties had literally just foreclosed after so many years, and I was like, I have to get private financing. So it was like the one last step in my journey, I guess you could say, so far anyway. One last step that I had, like, hoop I had to jump through, so I had to get private financing. Thankfully, my referral partners at Fairway Funding, big shout out to you guys, really, really helped me. I really needed help at that time. So they were able to secure private financing. I think it was like 5% at that time, which private financing, you always think like 10, 12%. So I was so lucky. I think it was like 9 months later, I refinanced into a 15-year 3.125 note, and then, you know, I paid it off in a matter of, I think it was 5 years or something like that. So my home is paid for, you know, and I'm now in such a different position where I'm frugal and I'm smart with my money, and this is the reason that having a realtor that has sort of been through several markets and learned from actually firsthand experience is good to have. I feel like I'm a better advisor, so to speak. I have real life experience, and I think that's important for people to trust you. You know, you can't just recreate that from reading a book, kind of a thing. So anyway, I just thought I'd share that with you. That's just like a little bit of the story in a nutshell. Well, I hope this answered some questions for some people. Hopefully, you know, it was a little bit relatable. And, you know, sometimes when you see someone, doesn't matter if it's a realtor or other business person, and they look to be successful and whatever that means, there's a story. And it's not because they haven't failed. Trust me, they've definitely failed many times, but it shows you they're trying. And I think the most important takeaway is actions. As long as you're doing actions every single day toward the greater good, or toward your goals, or whatever that might be and entail, whether it's business or personal, I think that's what matters. And as long as you're trying, you're failing forward, keep up the good work. And you know, thank you for watching. Thank you if you're a new subscriber or an old subscriber, commenting, liking, and sharing. And again, this is a real estate page. We're going to continue on in 2023 here throughout the year and bring you hopefully what you think is good content. So click that like button if you liked it, and click the link below, shaylatwit.com.